Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. And keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. All right, folks, so here we are on Wednesday, January 15th. We're going to take a look at Lucid today. So I redid the chart a bit here on Lucid since it has broken this downtrend resistance that we had on the previous chart and is making a good push. You know, this swing feels strong enough to me that versus basing potential levels off of previous price action, that we should account for this swing in and of itself, again, because it has been such a strong swing from this 193 level up for now, where it's topped out at that 364 area, and see if it can sort of work off of those extension levels, or if it does pull back, you know, we do have some support levels as well. So the one support level that I did add in besides the Fibonacci extension levels was this 255, and that's just because you know, it's sort of just having motion still over this 285 support level from the fib, and the next level up is 322. And so just knowing that, you know, if it does sort of finish with this swing, you know, if that was sort of like the bullish run and then it's going to draw back significantly like we have seen it done in, I guess, all of the recent swings, more or less, you know, I did want to have something below that 285 if it does shed that. So 255 is based off of the previous price action here, which you see it did hold strongly previously and did sort of reconfirm that level on this push as well when it came up through, came down, reconfirmed, and then carried on. So we'll just get that out of the way. So if it does pull back, that's what I have. 285 keeps it in the fib. 255 puts it out, and then sort of we're back to, okay, where are we going from here? Let's reorient ourselves based off of previous price action. Now, if it continues to push, 322 is the nearest in resistance level that I have, so if it can work through that, you'll see there's a whole sticky area, right? This whole sticky area here, 345, 64, and 83 basically. But 83 would get it at swing higher than the 364, which is where the current swing high is. And so, you know, 383, even if it gets sticky around there, does unlock the next fib extension levels of 409 and then 443. So for me, you know, if it does continue to push, those are the levels that I'm looking at for this swing. Again, as things evolve, we will adjust as we go, but this at least gives us opportunity for extension or pullback and seeing what it does at those levels. Now, EMAs wise, you know, doing exactly what we talked about back here. So back here when I made the video, I think it was like 4 stocks to watch in January or something like that, and I included Lucid in that, and I was talking then about, you know, this being one of my favorite setups where you see the bullish crossovers start to happen where the price action is situated below the 183 EMA and those short terms starting to cross over, and then what I'm looking for is bullish crossover of the short-term EMAs above the long-term EMAs. So as of now, we have the 8, the white EMA, wrestling with the 183, but unable to hold a bullish crossover yet, although it is looking like it's going to make another attempt, you know, today or tomorrow, whatever. You know, what's then becomes important is, can the 21 and the 34 both also be dragged through the 183 EMA? If so, then maybe we have some more run room. You see how the 34 failed over here? Right, you had bullish crossovers of everything, though. I mean, this was such a lackluster crossover. This 21, you know, that might have sort of tipped you off to, okay, yeah, this is crossing over the 183, but it is not the bullish sort of motion that I would like to see. And so I'm going to be kind of skeptical of this, right? Everything's curling back as it's crossing over, is not really the motion that you want to see happening. And then the 34, this red one, never crossed over. the 183, right? And so when the price action lost, its hold above the 183, it just fell back through and had, quite a bit of a downturn after that. So that's why it's important to see not just the price action over there. The price action over there is what will get the EMAs over it, but it alone to me is not enough, especially when the long-term chart looks like this, right? I mean, it's in such a long-term downward distress that it's a lot, right? For even for it to get back to, even to me, if it got into like the mid fours, that would be really significant. Not just because it would be a big percentage up, but this attempt here, like these swings, overcame these previous swings in here. And even then, it came down to make lower lows than it had in this range. So it would at least get it up over these levels, and then there may be an opportunity for much stronger support, unless, some really bad news or really pile on of bad catalysts befall Lucid, which of course could happen. But you do see this previous shelf here of support, and it aligns pretty well with this shelf of topping out. And so there could or should be a decent amount of support in there from like 390 or so up to, like 425 or so. So, that to me is like, okay, if it can get motion above this say to 450 or so, and it then has all of the short-term EMAs, bullish formation, it's over the long-term EMA, then it gives it at least a chance that if it does pull back a little bit, can it catch support in that range of like 390 to, like 425 or so. So that's sort of what I'm looking at. But for me to feel comfortable, because Lucid has been so long so distressed, I would feel more comfortable waiting personally for these EMAs to cross over, because like I said, you see here it can fail too easily, and like I said back here, you can see it there as well. Same situation here, it didn't even make it, right? So even if you're playing the short-term crossovers to the 183, that can be a good swing, right? That's a good several day swing. For me, I was just in other things, and so I was, happy to wait it out and sort of see what Lucid wanted to do. But you could have had a really nice swing here if you played these bullish crossovers, and you could have taken it from, low to mid twos, up to the mid threes. Like, that's a huge percentage gain, and not many trading days to work through, like mid December through early January. It's like a 3-week swing or so, which would have been a phenomenal take home. And yeah, so that's what it looks like on the EMAs for me. Let me bring these fib levels back in and flip over here to the Thinkorswim side of things. Not a ton to look at here, but we did have this trigger and fire back here in the TTM squeeze indicator. And if we're looking for levels, we might as well talk about these. The put trigger for January is all the way down at 237. So if it gets to 237, it might have a hard time sort of recovering from that. We'll see. But if it does continue to get legs, here we get some additional levels to the upside. Call trigger at 367 with a +1 ATR at 576. You get a stop in the middle here of an initial ATR level around 472 or so. So 367, 472, 576. Some additional levels to look at, and that does extend, beyond the levels that we have here in this sticky region. We do have one situated up here at basically 541. So still a little bit lower than, but you see fib will just keep going and going, and Lucid's price action in the past being such that we can expand the view enough to see it. That's oftentimes the struggle with the fib, is we can't expand the view well enough to see it, to see all of the levels. But here you see what the levels would look like. But here there would probably evolve some more recent swings that we would want to work off of, so that we don't have such huge spacing percentage wise in between, right? 540 to 698 is just such a huge percentage change, and you don't want to just be flying blind the whole time in between there of looking for, okay, where might it hit some resistance? If it does hit that resistance, where might it catch support and still sort of remain in the swing? So for me, my look here is this initial sort of sticky area and seeing what it might be able to work through in that range and going from there. But these can certainly be helpful, but so far at least it's put in a couple candles rejecting that call trigger for January, so we'll see if it has the juice to get up over it. All right, folks, so I hope that you've had a happy hump day, and as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.